All right, guys, so today we're gonna do one more quick mod to the 4Runner, something I've been wanting to do for a little while, just haven't had the time. We'll start with this over here. So we got an awning. It is an Ironman 4x4. This is the 2 meter, so it is the shorter one. I know the other common one's the 2.5 meter that a lot of different companies make, but I don't like how they hang off the front of their 4Runner. It goes beyond the windshield. So I went with the shorter one, gonna give it a try, and we're gonna mount it to the Prinsu rack, which I know you can mount it directly to the side rails, but because I wanted a little more height, I went and got the actual Prinsu awning mount brackets. So we'll give these a try. I do believe that I'm gonna have to scoot my case over just a little bit because I have it mounted right at the edge, and there won't be enough room for the brackets, but that shouldn't be a big deal. So gonna scoot it over a little bit, get the brackets on there, and then get the awning sized up. So it should be pretty simple. I'm gonna do it myself, and I thought I'd make life easy. I park next to the trailer, so I don't need a ladder or step stool or anything. I should be able to just work on it easily. So let's get going on this. Oh, came with hardware. I didn't expect that, which is fine. I had hardware, but they're going to provide it even better. Another sticker. And the brackets. Should make it super simple to mount. So, the mount like that, the rail goes right there, and the awning goes there. So, pretty easy. So first things first, I'm going to move the case over a little bit. So I get a lot of people asking how this case is mounted. It's very simple. I'll show you. I do have it mounted close to the edge, so I'm going to scoot it over a little bit, but it's very basic. Literally, I just drilled holes, and those are carriage bolts that go into the Prinsu rack rail. Just slid them in, bolted right through with some washers and lock nuts. Got 2 in the back and 2 up front. So all I'm going to do is loosen those a little bit, scoot this whole case that way just a few inches. Probably leave it loose, get the brackets on, and then slide it back into place. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna open the awning to kind of get a feel of where it's gonna sit to see where I need those brackets. That's what I should do first to make sure I get the brackets in the right spot. But pretty simple. And also, this basic shovel, I can't remember the brand of it. I'll put a link in the description. They're less than 20 bucks. It works, and I've just got it mounted up here with some of these Gorilla grip things that are bolted to the bottom. It's not locked or anything, somebody could steal it, but I guess if somebody's gonna put that much effort into getting my shovel, so be it. Everything else I keep locked down. All right, so pretty simple. Loosened up the bolts on the inside of the case, slid it over just a little bit. It doesn't have to move over as much as I thought it would. So I'm gonna get the brackets mounted and then kind of bump it this way back a little more. Real quick, all it takes to mount the brackets are these 4 carriage bolts. So I just unloosened the 2 bolts that hold the rail, lifted up, and then slid the screws in, or the bolts in, because the side slots don't have these cutouts like the top ones do, which are super convenient on top. There's just not really room to do them on the sides or whatever. So then we're just going to drop the bracket in, which I have sitting right here. So we're actually put the screws forward. This will drop in. They've left enough room for those screws to go back into place. Slide them in, and then we'll tighten them down. That'll be the first bracket. Piece of cake. Okay, super simple. First bracket's mounted up. Just those 4 carriage bolts and lock nuts. Comes with the washers and everything provided with the bracket. So that'll work. And yes, I did tighten it with a ratchet, not the impact gun, just for anybody who's going to complain at me about it. But let's get the next one on. Mount one more back here, then we can throw the awning in place. Okay, so both brackets are mounted. There's really not much to them, pretty simple. Was a little bit of an interesting pain just to get in here and work on the handles, but again, nothing too crazy. So those guys are on there. So now we're going to mount the awning, and I just went through and found the hardware. One interesting thing is that not only does it come with the bolts, which I guess I got to fit those in the channel, make sure they work, but it comes with it's a no-namer, but it's a 10mm ratcheting wrench. So basically, flip this guy over, those bolts will slide into this channel and then bolt right through into here. So before I do that, I'm going to slide those bolts in that channel, make sure they lock up in there. If not, I may have to find some different carriage bolts. I usually keep some extras in here, so shouldn't be too big of a deal. So we're going to get that mounted up. All right, so I recalled when I was, before I picked this awning, I was looking at other ones and just exploring cheap eBay options. And one of the things people were complaining about was that the bolts didn't fit in the slots right. They would get in there and spin or oval out. They just weren't manufactured with the right tolerances. That wasn't something I'd read about the Ironman one, so I just wanted to verify. This is the hardware that comes with it, and it fits in there right. I don't see that spinning out unless you really over torque it. Did not come with washers, which is no big deal. I have extra washers, so I am going to use washers when I mount it. But got the bolts in, and I think I'm going to get my son out here to help me so I don't scratch up the 4Runner just to hold it up there. But we're going to bolt it up. Should be pretty easy. All right, well, it's mounted. It was pretty simple. And working up here on this trailer so we're up high has made it really easy. I kind of pushed it all the way to the back, or at least to the end of the rack, so it's right back there. I don't know if that's where I'm going to want it, but that's a good starting place. I kind of think that just makes I know, it looks better, but we'll see how functional it is. Again, it's pretty easy to move, so just the brackets, and you can see the two bolts. All the hardware was supplied, and I totally forgot about that ratcheting wrench that I just mentioned. That would have made it easier than trying to get the socket wrench in there, but it wasn't too big of a deal. So that's that. We're going to button stuff up. I'm going to slide the case back over this way, I think just a little bit, to get it as close as I can without anything interfering. We can actually, it'll move over an inch or so, which isn't a big deal. I've always just kind of had it at the edge because it was easier to reach, but the space in the middle was always kind of wasted unless we were on a trip, because that's where I would put the gazebo and everything, kind of strap it to the rack. So I think let's scoot this case over, button things up, and let's go set this thing up somewhere and see what it looks like. But I wasn't sure how I would like the green cover. I actually kind of like it. It doesn't go with the whole black-white theme, but it is what it is. Because if I really don't like it, we can change it to black or do something. So, all right, let me get this case button back up and let's set this thing up. All right, so one thing to note, and I kind of knew this but didn't care. But anyways, the Ironman 4x4 Awning comes with mounting brackets, just basic L brackets, that would have worked. They would have been just fine. Would have mounted right into the rack and would have kept us at basically the same height. One thing is it hugs it closer to the rig, which I don't know is necessarily good or bad. I wanted the Prinsu specific ones, just they look really sturdy and kind of how I wanted to go. But if you didn't want to buy brackets, save a little money, it does come with brackets that would have worked just fine. Don't have quite as much adjustment, but it comes with them. So I wonder now. I'll hang on to them. Don't know what I'll use them for, but they might be good brackets to use for something else because they will fit right into the Prinsu rack. And I have some ideas. Those might be good for some other things. I'm going to keep those. Watch for those in the future. I have an idea. We'll see how it plays out. But wanted to mention that the awning does come with brackets of its own, so makes it an even better value, which we'll talk about pricing here momentarily. All right, let's set this up. I've never set up an awning, but we'll see how it goes. All right, so as you can see, I struggled a little bit, but that's because it was my fault. I kept turning these green things thinking they were like a retaining nut to tighten the connection, but it's not. You actually turn the post itself. Once I figured that out, it all worked, but I was struggling to get everything tightened up and where it should be. I started to think that they were forgetting parts, but that was totally my fault. And, you know, I haven't spent much time under vehicle awnings, but I feel like this one extends way more than most awnings. I need to check that. I've never looked at the dimensions of how far they extend, but it just seems like a lot of room, which is good. I mean, that's great, but a little surprised by that. So that's that. It's not straight. I just wanted to set it up real quick. I forgot that this one also has lights, so I don't know if you saw the thing fall out when I was extending it. LED lights built in. There's the controller that goes brighter or dimmer, and it plugs into your cigarette lighter. I just threw it in here, but it's one feature they got is the LED lights. I don't know how much I'll use them because we usually have rope lights anyways, but it is a nice feature that's included. So I think that'll work. Need to get it set up at night and turn those lights on, see what it looks like. Okay, well, everything clears, doors open, it looks good. I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, haven't really used it other than just to make sure it fits, but let's button it up and see how much fun that is by myself. I don't think it'll be too big of a deal, but again, I've never done it, so let's see if we can figure this out. That wasn't too bad for the first time. Definitely doable. And I noticed that those little green square things, I thought the retaining clips are actually, I don't know, like an anti-vibration thing. When you fold the arms into the channel, it holds it in place so they don't rattle. So that's kind of neat. They were just like a cushioning. They almost locked them into place. But buttoned up, I put the cord and everything back in there so it's where it needs to be when we need it. So I'm not gonna go looking for it, but I don't know. We'll see how this works. I think you guys will see this thing being used a lot. All sorts of places. So that's it. Wasn't much of an install. It's pretty simple, but wanted to show what it can be done. Pricing, these things were, I want to say they're in the $220 range. It was very comparable to any other brand. Ironman4x4 USA is in Wilsonville, which I drive to Wilsonville almost daily. I'd actually had this one set up in will call. I pre-ordered it. It was a couple months out. It showed up and they UPS'd it to the house. No big deal, because I had intentions just to swing by and grab it, but shipped it right to my door, so that works out just fine. Check online. They do have discount codes. You know what? I'll see if they'll give us one. If not, just search around. There's some online to be found. Save a little bit of money on it, but so far so good. I mean, I don't have any complaints. It seems heavier duty than I expected. It's a nice heavy duty case, and the material of the awning itself was a lot thicker than I expected. So again, I'm gonna look up the dimensions, see if this thing sticks out further than most other awnings, 2-meter awnings. But that's that. Hope this video helped you guys out some, and maybe we'll do a little more video of that thing. You know, had this for about 2 years, just over 2 years to the day. And when I did the 1 year video with all the mods, people really liked it. So I need to do a 2 year video. We've done a few things in the last year to it, so maybe I'll do that and cover the awning in it real good here soon. But for now, that's it. Thanks guys, enjoy it. Links to everything I used, including the awning, description below, so you can get your own, and we'll see you on the next one.